What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation. I'm Nick, that's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming news podcast from Co-op 64. Connor, how are we feeling?
Feeling good. We just got back from a road trip to the game store. Right after work on a Friday, we go up to a couple of game stores, purchase some stuff, film a Recollecting Retro that you can get exclusively over on Patreon. Had a good time, and now we're back shooting casual gaming news conversation. How we doing,
yeah.
Nick?
I'm doing all right. Recollecting was the first piece of content I shot this week, so that was really nice. No, I'm coming off of the Persona 5 Marathon stream, part 1 of a 100-hour stream. It was absolutely nuts. Well, I should say part 1 of a 200-hour stream, because this was 100 hours of streaming, sleeping on camera, eating meals with y'all, hanging out, having a good time, and also just so happening playing like one of the best games ever.
How are we liking it?
It's a really phenomenal game. The thing that I have issue with, and I brought this up a few times, is I'm like 30 hours into this game, and people are asking me, like, how does it compare to Metaphor? And how does it compare to other turn-based games? And all these things. And I'm just like, it's really hard to go and compare something like a Metaphor to this, even though they're made by the same, they're both Atlas, and a lot of people that worked on P5 worked on Metaphor. It's hard to compare because I beat Metaphor. I know the whole story. I know all the bonds. Like, I know how these stories end up, where when I'm 30 hours in, I'm only 30% into Persona 5, if that. And it's like, so all these narratives are just like really starting. All these companion characters I haven't fully fell in love with yet. And then I have people coming into the chat being like, that's my dude. That's my favorite character. And it's like, I don't know that yet. Like, I don't fully get that yet.
Who is your favorite character so far?
So it started out as Ryuji. Ryuji was my guy because, bro, that's my dude. Oh, by the way, do need to shout out my guy, Matt. Matt came in, said one of the best things I've ever heard anyone say. And I was like, Matt, I love you, dude. We're good friends. And he's like, Nick, if you and I were companions, we'd be ranked 10 already. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's so kind. That's way too nice. So Ryuji's my guy thus far. And then Makoto and On are the two others that have been climbing the ranks. But then now, going into the fourth palace, Sodro, are you kidding me right now? Mm-hmm. This guy, this man, it's some good shit in this game.
He's awesome.
So this whole game's been amazing. The whole journey's been amazing. Playing one of a lot of people's favorite games ever in a stream like this has been exactly what I want it to be. It has been extremely fun. It's been awesome to share with the community. It's been tough. This was definitely something that, like, you can't prepare yourself for it. As much as I want to say I prepared myself for it over years of streaming and marathon streaming and doing stuff like this, the difference between 50 hours and 100 hours is exponentially more difficult.
There's not enough money in the world to get me to do something like this.
we talked about it on Wednesday night when we were doing Switch pre-orders live on stream, still streaming, even though we were taking a break from Persona. And I was like, Connor, when are we going to top this? And you're like, never. And I've always said for the past couple weeks, I'm like, of course we're going to top this eventually. Like, I would get too bored with myself. Like, I like doing stuff like this. I like pushing myself and the team and, like, the whole channel into a place that is, like, doing really cool shit all the time. I was like, of course we're going to top this. And now, halfway through it, I'm like, I don't know if we ever will, just because of the nature of, like, how difficult this has been on me physically. And a big part of that is, even as I'm speaking right now, you can hear my voice is a little bit raspier than it normally is, but also just, like, being in a room for this long, not going outside, not feeling the sun on my skin. Like, I went out to do a little trash run and just, like, drop the trash out back and everything. I was outside for like 12 seconds. So I was like, it is so nice to feel sun on my skin right now. Like, just being in this room, it's just been awesome though. Like, there's no complaints at the end of the day. Like, this has been something that not only that I wanted to do, but, like, 1 weekend, I'm still having a great time playing this fucking game. It's been awesome.
The stream that I want to do at this point, and we've talked about this before, is set it for a really high amount of time, 50 hours, 100 hours. Every trophy I get knocks time off. And you lose more time for, like, higher tiered trophies or whatever. So, like, bronze is like 5 minutes, silver 10, 15, gold an hour, platinum 5 hours or something.
It would be great.
I think it'd be super fun.
And what would be the first game you go after?
I don't know.
In a series like that?
It would need to be like one of those, like, I plan everything out, and no crappy ones, no, like, bullshit. Other than My Name is Mayo 2, which is happening apparently.
Oh shit!
I know. Like, that one for the meme, you kind of have.
They're
to
back.
do it.
Maybe we surround this all around the release of that game. Like
the most infamous trophy lists of all time. It must be, right?
Yeah. It's got to be. Like, because there's some great trophy lists out there, but we all know tapping that mayo jar, getting that platy,
Double platinum on the Vita and PS4.
It's ridiculous. But no, that would be a lot of fun. I like that. As a team, we've really figured out, like, not only the marathon stream, we figured out the 24-hour stream really well and subathons really well, but like we are still trying to be creative year over year, doing fun, creative stuff like this. So of course, there's going to be eventually a stream. It might not be as long, but it will be as creative and as robust as a platinum hunt or whatever the next thing is that we think of. It's gonna be awesome, dude. I'm always more excited, even in the moment. I'm halfway through the stream. I'm like, what are we doing next? Like, what's happening next? I mean, I was flying in from Miami last week and the day before this stream, and I literally was like, all right, what's Extra Life look like? And like not thinking about this stream anyways. And the stream's been great. Sleeping on an air mattress for a week, not ideal, but not that bad. Just a few extra stretches in the morning. Like somebody was like, Nick, it's really stretching a lot on like day 3. I'm like, I slept on an air mattress 2 nights in a row.
I'll say it. I think sleeping on an air mattress feels the same as sleeping in a bed half the time. For me. Like if it's a big air mattress, as long as I can sprawl out, I'm fine. And it doesn't deflate like the one that we had previously where it would like slowly deflate throughout the night.
This thing did stay pretty taut, which was nice. And honestly, like my apartment, even right now, Connor and I have realized that I run very hot and Connor runs very cold. Yeah. Like we were driving up and Connor was like, dude, I am frigid right now. And I'm like, I am steaming right now. And the car is at like 71 degrees. Like, but there was cold air blowing forward on you. So there is some fairness to that statement. But yeah, no, I definitely during the stream was running very hot. I donned a crop top every single night. And man, oh man, sleeping in a crop top when it rolls up on you, it gets a little bit tight under the armpits and everything. Not the most comfortable thing, but it was all right. The lighting situation at night, it was like the moon was like straight on my face.
I need pitch dark.
Same,
personally.
But Connor and I talked about this.
You can't say that though because you don't have blinds. You don't have curtains.
That's true. I do not need curtains.
That's wild.
I just have shades.
So 6 a.m, even like it gets a little light out,
and you're awake. I'm not. Yeah,
you're fine.
I'm fine. I can sleep through it. But I stayed that. But then when I go to Bonnaroo, last time I went to Bonnaroo, the second that the sun came out, I was up no matter what.
Yeah.
And so that meant you party till 3 or 4 a.m. You know, we're in the woods, and then all of a sudden 6 a.m. the sun comes up because it's summertime, and you're just like, holy shit! It is hot and it is early. Connor, I understand that you said you will never ever go to a music festival again, let alone a sleepover festival, right? Yeah. That's just out of commission for you. There's a price on everything. What's the price? This year, Bonnaroo, it's a fun lineup. What would I have to put in your bank account, like for you to go for the weekend?
Here's what I'll say: it's not about the money. It would be about a specific artist or something. Like I can only see Radiohead at Bonnaroo. And it's like, okay, then I'll go.
Do you think?
Or Daft Punk comes back.
Yeah, a lot of artists do that, though. They do their festival tour, and then they might tour somewhere else, but sometimes it's just festivals. Like Lady Gaga came off of the festival circuit, and now it did Coachella, and like I'm pretty sure that's how they're closing out their tour, basically. But there are certain artists that only show up for 1 or 2 festivals a year. I'm trying to think. There's somebody that is playing in Kilby Block Party, right? Oh, Car Seat Headrest. They're going to 9 locations, and then they're playing Kilby Block Party, and that's it. If my only option was go to a festival to see them at this point, I would 100% do that. But then again, I like going to festivals.
This next run of months is really good for us for concerts. For me, like specifically, it's like, when does Father John Misty here?
July.
So July, and then when is LCD? August. And then Jeff and Pup are September.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, these are bands that I'm willing to go on.
Jeff and Pup's on a Tuesday for me, so I will not be at that show, sadly. I will be streaming some game.
This will be my 6th or 7th time seeing Jeff at this point, which it puts him firmly in first place for me. So.
For me, Connor, you want to know a fun story? For me, all my favorite artists of all time are in that upper tier. I've seen Arcade Fire 3 times. I've seen Weezer 3 times. I've seen LCD Sound System only twice at this point.
Seen them 4 times, 5 times?
Sorry. Yeah, and then Arcade Fire, I've seen 5 times. 21 Pilots, over 10 times. You want to know?
You've seen 21 Pilots over 10
Oh
times?
yeah,
That's insane.
I like for a long time didn't miss a tour.
I said 8 times from Jeff, and I was like, that's like an outrageous amount.
Yeah.
But 10 is a lot.
You know who's joining the 3 artist club? Like I said, all these other artists are like some of my favorites ever.
Who?
Avril Lavigne.
Really?
Because they've just been before other artists I wanted to see during festivals. And lo and behold, she's before Olivia Rodrigo. And I'm basically going to Bonnaroo to see Olivia Rodrigo. Awesome. So I'm very excited about that. You want to know what else I'm excited about, Connor? Housekeeping. We do have a Patreon where you can get this show 3 days early, the Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early, and a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week. At the $10 tier, Connor already mentioned it, we just shot a banging Recollection Retro. A lot of fun there. You can get exclusive shows like that at that tier. Also, the Co-op 64 podcast. Also, exclusive TikToks every single week. And at the $25 tier, you can go and have your name read at the end of every single podcast we do, and get to submit a topic for us, or for a chance for us to read it on the Co-op 64 podcast. The Co-op 64 podcast, Connor and I are talking about ideas. Brady and I are talking about ideas. Maybe we shoot one in LA. Maybe we have some fun, one round in SGF. We'll see where that goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Also, Twitch streams. Next week, it is just more Persona. All day, all the time. When this show goes live at 9 a.m. Eastern on free feeds, that is also when we are starting the Persona stream back up. That means that if you are listening to this and you are not over on Patreon, I am streaming Persona right now. Just in perpetuity, basically. Mm-hmm. So go enjoy that. Stop by, say hi, and put a smile on my face as I am struggling through one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. Discord. We do have a Discord, over 2,500 members over there hanging out, kicking it, talking about games. If you want to hop in there, talk about Claire Obscure. We have a thread that's happening for that. Obviously, there's spoiler tags and stuff like that. Toss your thoughts in there. Discuss that game. Discuss Oblivion. Discuss the latest and greatest with us, with this amazing community. It's a bunch of fun. Highly, highly recommend. I've been in there just seeing what everyone's talking about Claire Obscure, because that is just the game of the moment right now, in my opinion. We will talk about the other game of the moment later on in this show. Also, though, we do have our Claire Obscure review up for everyone. Bonus pod this past week went up for everyone. If you want to check that out over on YouTube or Spotify podcast services, go check that out. I think that we did a great job having a discussion about one of the latest and greatest. Shout out to that team, by the way, for sending over review codes, and shout out that team for making a great game for only $50. It still does not make sense that it is $50. Finally, we have new merch, co-op64store.com. Review us over on Apple Podcasts, and the comment section for the latest pod, I did not see any. There was some discussion. Oh, somebody did bring up Destiny. They were like, hey, this is what's happening with Destiny. Apparently, the final shape is not the final thing, obviously. This is the end of phase 1, basically. And now, apparently, we're entering phase 2 with Destiny.
But phase 2 is smaller expansions, like at a more regular clip or something, like twice a year.
Yeah, there was a full read on it, but
which, as I understand it, everybody just wants Destiny 3.
Yes,
and everyone is mad that that is what is happening.
Shout out for that comment, because we did ask for it. We do read those, and by the grace of God, I remember that after streaming for 100 hours. But it was such a good comment that, we had to go and show out for that. So if we get anything wrong during this podcast, or if we ask you to hop in the comments during this podcast, please do so. We will read out if we get anything wrong on the next episode and set the record straight. Headline: Ghost of Yotei comes to PlayStation 5 on October 2nd. This is Andrew Goldfarb at PlayStation Blog. Quote: we are so excited to announce that Ghost of Yotei comes to PlayStation 5 on October 2nd, 2025. It's been nearly 5 years since we shipped Ghost of Tsushima, and in that time, we've been hard at work making Ghost of Yotei something special. While the stories are unrelated, it's important to us to make this a worthy follow-up to Jin's journey, and we can't wait for you to experience Atsu's quest for vengeance later this year. Alongside today's news, we've also released our latest trailer of Ghost of Yotei, the Onryo's List. End quote. Connor, this one came out of the fucking blue. Ghost of Yotei, October 2nd. First and foremost, is this due to them not having something to show in May/June for the PlayStation Showcase or State of Play?
You think there is going to be a PlayStation
state of play or
State of play
something.
or
Yeah,
something.
something in the. But this
Well,
coming
clearly
out,
they have something
this-
to show.
No, but they're not they're showing it here for some reason. Is my big issue with this whole thing. Where are you at with this trailer? When this drops, what is the first thing that goes to mind? Because for me, that's what went to mind.
The first thing that went to mind to me was, oh, I can't wait to play GTA 6 in November.
Yeah, that's also the same exact thing, dude. It's November, correct? We
Yeah.
can sort of dial in
If
at this
it is
point.
this year, if GTA 6 is coming out this year, which I feel relatively confident at this point, that based off of that Strauss-Zelnick interview with him talking about anticipation and like kind of having that build up and trickling out information every once in a while and then just holding and letting that anticipation build or whatever, it makes me think that they're going to like trailer 3 months beforehand, 4 months beforehand, and then the game comes out and that's it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't need anything. So GTA aside, let's talk about Ghost of Yotei. I can't wait to play this game. October 2nd is about where I thought it was going to be. I would say a little bit sooner. I thought November was potential for this, so October is a little bit earlier than I had thought. It got leaked that it got rated somewhere.
Yeah, ESRB
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
And then, so now we kind of knew that this information might be imminent. I thought with that rating, it could be like something like August or something. And I was like, oh, that would be crazy. But October even is totally fine. PlayStation's year is shaping up really well, I think, with Death Stranding. Ghost, I think, is a rock solid 1-2 punch for me specifically. I know that some people are not about Death Stranding, but get on that hype train if you're not and go check out the first one and maybe you'll be stoked on it as much as I am. But yeah, I can't wait for this. I didn't watch the trailer. I'm out. I'm watching more about Ghost. Ghost like is such a known quantity for me where based off of that first trailer, I'm like, I know that this is going to be more Ghost with some new enhancements and a new story and a new world. I don't need to be sold at all. And I'm somebody who's very sensitive to spoilers. So if I can just avoid stuff altogether, I'm going to do it. And this is a one-off trailer that's not in a state of play. So fuck it. I'm not watching
I was about to say, this just leads me to let you and the audience know whenever we react to the summer state of play or showcase, Connor will be in the dead center of this panel, and when he goes and it shows up that it's Ghost of Yotei time, he's just gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna be locked in. You're gonna be locked in. But yeah, no, it's really interesting that it's here. I just keep on going back to the fact of like, why now? Why today? For those that think that this is Sony swinging back after Xbox's amazing week, that's not how this works. Just real quick, 100% that's not how this works. It is always, for something like this, a trailer drop, this is planned months in ahead from marketing teams, Ghost and Sucker Punch team. Like, just has nothing to do with that.
I also don't think that Sony thinks about Xbox at this point.
Yeah. With that being said, I still cannot find the right equation that allows for this to be acceptable. Just a random fucking Wednesday. I'm streaming Persona.
It seems like they kind of do that every once in a while, though, where you get just a random Twitter post and it's like, okay, well, now we're doing this. I don't know. Like, the one that comes to mind for me is like God of War 2018's release date was announced like 3 months beforehand just on a PlayStation blog post. And I was like, okay, like, great. Okay. And they did that a lot during that PS4 generation. So like, it's not like out of the realm of possibility that they just kind of are looking at that generation and are like, we can do that here again. Yeah. So, I mean, a trailer is a big deal with a release date. If it was just a random trailer, I think that would be a different story. But the fact that they want pre-orders to probably start flowing in and start generating hype for this. And if they do have a showcase, if they have a stacked showcase, they probably want to just be like, okay, we give this game its moment, and then we'll focus on everything else in May or whatever. So
yeah, let's go to May because I think it's interesting. Let's just say it's a state of play because I think that's where you lean at this point. That's kind of where, I lean at this point too. I was expecting at this point around like late April to hear something from an insider or a Jeff Grubb or like something that gives more credence to the fact that it's a showcase, and we haven't heard that. So I think that it is going to just be a state of play. It's closing out with Yote gameplay, right? Like, that's what it's going to be. Or do you hold that for September, a month before it drops?
I think you could do what they did with with Tsushima the first time, where you have a dedicated state of play whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
That's separated from everything else.
Have we gotten a lot of those in the PS5 era? Because we did quite often in the PS4 era. We did for Horizon Forbidden West early on. But other than that, I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of and The Last of Us, but that was PS4 era still. Last of Us Part 2. But yeah, I still don't get it. Because it's like, there has to be an answer to this. And I think the answer is, it is a showcase. And you just want Ghost to be within that like awesome rock block where we get Seros gameplay and we get Ghost gameplay. This is the only way I can sort of make sense of it. Let's have Ghost have its moment today, and then have another moment in the shuffle of Ghost gameplay, Marathon gameplay, Seros gameplay, Resident Evil 9 is there. A couple more major third-party partners show up. Maybe we get something like a Kingdom Hearts 4 or a Persona 6 in there. If you have those 5 games, let's just say it's Persona 6 because Kingdom Hearts 4 is fake and doesn't exist. It is Seros, it is Marathon, it is Yote.
I don't think they're showing Marathon at one of these things at this point. I think Marathon, we had this conversation in the car. I think Marathon is separate from PlayStation.
Yeah.
They do not seemingly want to like go all in on Marathon. Bungie just seems to be handling that on their own.
Yeah.
So
It is interesting though, but I think that there still is a chance that it shows up because that's where we saw it first. And you,
I mean, what are you going to show? A gameplay section?
You open up the beta.
Marathon?
You do a quick trailer and then you open up the beta.
Okay, yeah.
So I could see that. It's and especially summer multiplayer session that you want to get that fun in the sun and everything. And so yeah, it's Seros, it's Yote, it's Marathon. Maybe Fair Games gets another look, and then you go and the last section of that showcase would just be here's Ghost. If you want to get real tinfoil cap with it. If you want to get real crazy, this would make 100% sense. It would be going out on a crazy limb, but it would make sense. They do this now because they want a moment in the sun, because it is not the biggest game of that showcase. The games that I just listed, Ghost of Yotei stands up right next to all those games, even an RE9 announcement. It would have its own moment. It would be a big thing, a big headline coming out of that showcase. If it's a Sony showcase, what's one game that is bigger than all games, Connor? GTA 6. And what if the tinfoil cap theory I've had since day one of the PlayStation 5's life cycle comes true, and they have the marketing rights to GTA 6 to some level, and it is in a PlayStation showcase, and that is where we get trailer 2 for GTA.
It's definitely possible. I similar to Bungie, I do think that they like to do their own thing.
Totally.
Rockstar likes to be separate from everybody else and just have their moment. But I do think it is possible to get a trailer in one of these things. It would need to be a showcase, though.
It would be a Sony showcase at that point. And if you're doing, like, Sony showcases pull-in partners all the time, and obviously Rockstar is just different. Rockstar's on a different stratosphere. You can get a From Software, you can get a Naughty Dog, you can get any Capcom, anything like getting From Soft, or not From Soft, getting Rockstar in your showcase is just like otherworldly. But if it happens, come on, like it's game over. It's a huge fucking moment. And with that logic, it makes sense. Hey, let's do this now. And then the headline's going to go to GTA. If that were the case, let's go and have a headline moment right now with our own game. Then again, does Rockstar want to play ball? Probably not. Does PlayStation want that amongst every other one of their trailers that they're doing? Maybe. But that, if it were the case, that would make some level of sense. I'm stoked about this. I can't wait to play this game. I have done the math out of between AC Shadows and this date on when I am going to finish Ghost of Tsushima. I'm finishing it in mid-July, apparently, to have the perfect gap time between all those things. And that'll be a good lead-in and give me a couple months away from this world and this combat system.
Are you really excited for this after playing Ghost and not really falling in love with it?
Ghost is a great game. It's a really great game. I am just not mind blown by it. The hard part is being around Brady so much, because Brady fucking loves this game.
I love this game too.
But you love a lot of games. You're yapping it up about some random Vita game and Parasite Eve. Like, so it gets diluted.
It's called taste.
It gets diluted in conversation, whereas when I'm around Brady, it comes up pretty often. I'm like, dude,
Ghost of Tsushima is so good, dude. It's one of those games that you take your phone and you chuck it in the other room and you just immerse yourself in this world, and it holds your hand so well without making it feel like you're being babied through the entire experience, where like you don't need to look anything up ever. It's frictionless. You just get to enjoy the game, enjoy the world, explore things, just look at the different vistas with all the pretty colors and everything. It's so good. And I can't wait to play Yote for the same reason. Like I just know this game's going to be great. By default, they just need to build on what they've already done. It's like a great second album for a band where the band Whitney is the one I think of, where it's like, okay, you do one album and it sounds like this and it sounds amazing. And I love the sound. You do a second album and it's a lot like the first album. You can do it twice, where it's like you can just kind of follow it up with the same kind of sound, but more of it. On a third go for Ghost, I'm like, then you kind of have to change it. But for this, it's like, just run it back, add a few little accoutrements to it, and we're good to go.
My example is Two Door Cinema Club.
Yeah.
Those first two albums, they sound the same. They're both fucking awesome. And then they get to that third one, and it's kind of similar, but it's a little different. And it's just like, I don't need this in my life right now. And then what happens when you go to a two-door show? You're talking about those first two albums with all the fans. When you go to a Ghost of show in a few years from now, you're going to be talking about these first two games most likely.
Yeah, I'm just saying that maybe the Sucker Punch goes and does something different after this.
Yeah.
I don't want Ghost to be like this massive franchise that they just keep making game after game after game. But also, Sucker Punch doesn't really do that anyways. You get 3 Slies, you get 3 Infamous games. Maybe you do 3 Ghosts and then you move on.
The hard part that it's now it's one of Sony's big franchises.
I know, but they clearly, with their big studios, are willing to let them just go do something else.
True.
I know Naughty Dog's like in a different echelon than everybody else, but I do think Sucker Punch and Sony Santa Monica, I think, in my opinion, are the 2 below them.
Yeah, but most likely.
You would argue maybe Guerrilla for a
Gorilla's hanging out there.
For them,
they're invited to the party.
When it comes to public perception, I think that people think Sucker Punch, they think high quality, amazing video games similar to God of War.
What is Insomniac in that party?
They're a B tier studio. They're rock solid.
They're hanging out with Horizon. They're kicking it with Guerrilla.
Yeah.
I think that they're kicking it with Sucker Punch.
No, Sucker Punch over Insomniac every day of the fucking week. Ghost of Tsushima is a way better game than Spider-Man.
I disagree. I'm going to be honest, dude. I disagree. We haven't had that moment yet. We haven't had that podcast where we are dissecting Sony franchises in general, or like we've talked studios and everything, but like when I'm talking about what I want in a video game and who I need to count on for my life when it comes to hitting that 85 plus Metacritic, it's going to be Insomniac. Once again, Ghost is a game that you love, Brady loves, and a lot of people love. It has an 81 on Metacritic right now.
I don't care what the critics say.
I understand.
Honestly.
I totally understand.
This is how I look at this game, and I'll bang the drum on it forever. So.
But I'm just saying that, like, general perception, you're saying that it's Sony Santa Monica.
I think that general public perception, when you talk about 2020, like a lot of people are like, it should be The Last of Us, which is blasphemous to me. But like, people are talking about it in comparison to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Of like, it's better than that. And I know there's different reasons why people don't like The Last of Us Part 2, but saying that it's the best game in any given year is like,
especially 2020, one of the greatest years ever.
Like,
and I know it added to that year quite a bit. And for me, I'm between that 8.5, 9 area. I think this game's fucking awesome. I need to just beat it.
8.5, 9?
Yeah.
For a game that you can't like really even fully get into, seemingly?
No, dude, the reason I couldn't get into Ghost was not because I couldn't get into Ghost. It was because this was right when I started up going full time, and I didn't realize this, and you didn't fully realize this. Brady didn't, and like honestly, anyone that sees what we do did not realize that like I don't get to play games during the day, especially early on when it was taxes and emails and really trying to figure out like what being full time really looked like. And so I like would have moments where I'm like, all right, I'm going to play Ghost and this afternoon, and then all of a sudden I am going in, like, sit down for 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden email goes, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to go and answer that real quick. And then we get another, and I'm just like, oh snap, like emails just don't stop, and there's a lot of work that happens. So I just couldn't get into it on a workflow, and then I wasn't streaming it, and then it was weekends, I was doing other stuff and starting to review things, and just all of a sudden I had to put it down. And it stunk that I had to put it down. I do want to get back to this game. I'm thinking about this game, but right now I need to play Death Stranding before Death Stranding 2.
There's so many games to replay, dude.
So many games to replay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I want to finish Death Stranding as well. And Ghost, I never did the Iki Island expansion.
yeah.
I would really like to go back and do that. A lot of the if we were gonna do that platinum hunt thing, there's a lot of games that I would need to just play cleanup on. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I thought that all these games were going to start from nothing and go for it.
I could do a mix of all of it or whatever.
But no, that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm stoked about this game. I'm legitimately really excited about it. The hard part of 2025 gaming for me that I've learned is there's not a lot of games that are for me that are also for everyone else. Whereas like last year, FF7 Rebirth was for me and it was for a lot of people. And that was really cool. And then Astrobot was for me and for everyone else. And that was really cool. This year, there just really isn't that other than Mario Kart World. And even that, I would say a lot of people look at the Switch 2 lineup and they're just like, that's the one you're pointing to as like the one you're excited about. Why not Donkey Kong Bonanza? Why not Metroid Prime 4? And I'm just like, no, this is my shit. Like, this is something I love. So it's really hard to go and be like, look at 2025 because people are looking to Ghost and they're like, that's my shit. I'm like, it's just really, I'm excited, but it isn't this like 10 out of 10 home run. I was talking to you about like how this year it feels like there's gonna be a lot of 9s, but I don't know where that 9-5 is gonna come from, and I hope it's this.
I feel the same way about the first third of this year so far, where like nothing has exactly been like a me game. You know what I mean? Like Clair Obscur is the thing that has gotten the closest, where it's like a turn-based RPG that's parry focused and feels amazing to play, but it has its problems that held it back from being like one of my favorite games or anything like that. I need something to hit a 9, and I think that's Death Stranding. Probably I could see Lost Soul Aside potentially hitting that for me.
Can we talk about how Lost Soul Aside has just not been discussed by seemingly anyone in the past 3 months due to the fact that there's just a lot of great fucking games coming out? But I feel like when people even are bringing up May, they're just like, yeah, I'm stoked about Doom and then Switch 2. I'm like, we have it, same with Night Rain to some level, and that's Elden Ring.
Well, Lost Soul comes out like a week before Switch. Jeez, man. Like that is another factor to all of this. When I've been looking at and talking about and thinking about this year, I don't factor in Switch because we didn't know exactly what we were dealing with until a couple weeks ago. And now it's coming up in a few months or a month at this point, and it's like, oh shit, like great.
It's here.
Yeah.
Can you believe that it's been 3 weeks since the Switch reveal event?
That's wild. Time doing this and having a full-time job outside of it like makes time go so fast.
Yeah.
It's honestly very frustrating because I want to kind of revel in all of this and enjoy it and like be in the moment, but it's like the next thing, next game, big release, big stream, going to SGF. It's like, oh geez.
It goes back to FF7 Remake Subathon last year where we finished that, and then a week later we took the weekend off, I think, and then I was like, all right, time for the next big thing, like the week, like 2 weeks after, and it was just like, oh yeah, like this just doesn't end. And especially in a year like 2025 when we have games like Yote coming out and it's just a fucking banger, it's nonstop. Back to the story, I did watch the trailer. This is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm way more intrigued at what's happening here than Jin's initial story. And I get called crazy for that because Jin's initial story for a lot of people really hit. And like, I was like, that's one of the best parts of the game for me. It was like, this is really great, but like, it isn't like this like unbelievable moment. For me, finishing Act 1 is where we start to really get cooking in that game, and I'm still in Act 2. And so, but the Ghost of Yotei trailer, gas. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, Connor's not able to talk about it, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I don't want to disrespect your spoilers.
I read the like gist of the trailer.
Yeah,
like when they did the announcement tweet, I read like this is the general concept of the story.
Yeah, I did drop that from the news story. Also, they did discuss the concept of the story just due to the fact that I understand that you know what's up.
Also, again, Andrew Goldfarb showing up out of nowhere.
Goldfarb, dude,
from Podcast Beyond. I know he works for Sucker Punch, but when you said PlayStation Blog, I was like, does he work for PlayStation? I was like, no, he's just doing the article for Sucker Punch on PlayStation Blog.
Kicking ass, dude. Let's get Goldfarb on this podcast.
The Dark Knight of News, I think, is what his name was on
Beyond.
On Beyond.
That's sick nasty. That's a great fucking name for a podcaster. What's your podcast name? It used to be the Brother Evans, but that's long gone. That is old channel stuff. Where were we going to introduce
It's
you
got
guys?
to be something with the Vita. Like it has to be. Chilling on Vita Island.
Oh my gosh.
Connor Evans.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. I can't believe that that you are now so Vita'd up that people are going to start recognizing you for the Vita in public. Is that a perception that you want?
Yeah.
It's a perception I don't want to be a part of.
Dude. This console just rules, man. I'm playing Bastion right now. It's gorgeous on the Vita. Runs great.
I need to bring this up
Trophies.
because you brought it up and it's bothered me ever since. You're Mr. I'm dunking on the Switch. The Switch is too big. And then we talked about it when we saw one in the store. The Switch Lite's an option that's only a couple $100.
I need to get one of those.
And no, that is compact enough. Not just slipping in the back pocket or something.
It's still gaudy. You know what I mean? Like you pull it out and it's like everyone knows you're playing like a video game thing.
Who
I pull out the
cares?
Vita and I'm like, I don't necessarily care. It just is one less thing to think about. You know what I mean? There's a slight roadblock there to be like, do I really want to take this thing out right now? And it's so loud. Like I don't know. So yeah.
Anything else that you want to talk about Ghost other than we are both highly anticipating it and are stoked on it?
Nope. Excited for October 2nd.
Headline number 2, Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went live and were predictably a mess. This is Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Quote, pre-orders went live at 9 p.m. PT, 12 a.m. ET at 3 different retailers, Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. Or at least they were supposed to. But the actual rollout so far has been a hot mess. Myself and a big chunk of the IGN staff have all been trying to order our Switch 2s and meeting wildly varying levels of success. And folks on social media are reporting a whole host of problems as well, resulting in frustration, dejection, and rarely triumph. End quote. Connor, let's talk about this. What was our experience pre-ordering Switch 2s?
Easy peasy, baby. We mission accomplished. We got our Switches. Very exciting.
Yes.
Was very confusing and frustrating at first, but I honestly don't think it was that bad.
I think we got to tell the tale. I think we need to roll it back. So we go and we know what's happening at midnight on Wednesday night. I have been streaming at this point for roughly 60 something hours. Mm-hmm. Connor and Brady hop on Discord with me. We are still live. So my computer looks batch insane. I got OBS running, the Twitch chat running, and then a bunch of tabs, and then for some reason the timer is still running in the corner of this stream. And the boys also are on their setups where we all have 2 monitors. You were talking about how you just had tabs up everywhere. Brady was the same. We all had our accounts good to go with our cards uploaded. We were signed in to Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. We were signed into all the options to be able to pre-order this. And then midnight strikes. Best Buy, nowhere to be seen.
Which was our goal.
Yes.
We wanted Best Buy.
We wanted Best Buy. Connor and I both pre-ordered our PS5s from Best Buy. They had midnight release, so we were able to get it. For us, the big part of this is we fly to LA on Friday. These roll out Thursday or midnight Wednesday night. And we need to get those Switches before we start traveling. So when we come back to this podcast, which is going to be a hell of a week of content. It's going to be Mario Kart reviews and our first week with the Switch alongside all of our SGF previews and everything. There's a lot to do. So we are trying to dial it in on Best Buy so we can get it at midnight. Guaranteed, go to the store, get it physical. It's in our hands. We don't have to deal with somebody shipping it out and relying on weather or drivers or delays or anything. And so Best Buy was the goal. At 12:01, they were nowhere to be seen. Walmart allowed you to just hop into a queue. Very nice of Walmart. Good on Walmart. I like that strategy a lot.
I kind of like the scatter shot, just like hope that it works. And if you get one in your cart and you can check out fast enough, you get one. It's like the queue is a lot more orderly, but stresses me out because it's outside of my control. You know what I mean?
So it's 12:03 at this point. I have one in my Target cart. Like I'm good. We're good to go. And then I go and say, do we rip it? And I was like, I'm waiting for Best Buy. I'm just gonna wait for Best Buy. I'm a Best Buy boy. And mainly due to the fact that I was just too afraid to get this shipped, not June 5th. We needed June 5th. And so we wait a little bit longer. All of a sudden, Connor's lovely wife, Laura, I got one. And we're like, oh shit.
And it just was her proceeding to check out, submit order or whatever over and over again. The website was crashing. I was doing the same thing on my end, trying to just be like, let's just try to get one of these just to make sure we have one potentially even post-launch. Not even just trying to get one day of just we need one for the company or whatever for content. And so I was just trying to order, and it was just like error, and it just never went through.
So fast forward to like around 10:12, I think it was. 12:20 is when Best Buy went live, and that's when you finally pushed through. We're trying everything.
So for me, I watched a GameSpot video of somebody talking about the pre-orders with Jeff Grubb, and they were talking about how like Best Buy will have bundles, and those, if you really want one, if you really want to switch to, those might be your best bet because less people will be buying them. And like the bundles can be like the console with Mario Kart separate and Donkey Kong, or it can be the console with a 256 gigabyte SD card with it, or all the way up to like a $700 bundle with like 3 games and everything. So what I did was in 3 separate tabs, because it puts you in a queue as well, as I opened one with the Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. I opened one of the $700 ones, and then I had a basic Mario Kart bundle one. And we're just waiting for the page to refresh, and we're talking and being like, okay, come on, please.
Yeah.
And eventually the Mario Kart Donkey Kong basic switch to for like $560, I think, altogether, maybe closer to
like
$600.
$570.
Went through, and I want all of this, so it's great. Like I'm gonna, it's cheaper obviously to get it in the bundle, but
we needed it.
We needed it. We wanted the console, so we're like, okay. It went through. I go silent. Nick and Brady are looking at me and I'm like, he has not blinked.
Yeah, he goes, just doesn't say a word, and then he announces,
I got it, and I freak out. I was stoked. I was
happy dancing.
Ecstatic.
There's some emotes that could have been created out of it. I don't know if they were pulled, but there damn sure could have been some because Connor was pretty stoked. What did I tell you in that moment? Lock back in, because we are still going to war. And the nice part is we have our chat. The chat, if you're listening to this and you were in the chat, get in the comments, say what's up. That was a hell of an experience doing that with everyone, because everyone is keeping each other updated on what's happening, who's going live. I got Warrior 64 up, just refreshing him nonstop, trying to get some news out to the people that are going and pre-ordering
and
this.
I'm still trying to hit go on Target. Whatever, just still spamming that, being like, please go through so I can get one for Brady.
And so then all of a sudden, it's around like 10 or 12:30, Walmart pops up.
Just refreshes
randomly for Connor and I at the same time. And it said, press hold to prove you're not a robot. We both do so. And then we're still at the point where it's like, it's been close enough to the Best Buy window where it's like, maybe we still hold out for Best Buy. And then in this moment, it's been 30 minutes. You boys were going to bed. You guys both had work the next day. We were just like, fuck it, run it. And so we both bought it. Walmart said before this, we are guaranteeing shipping by 9 a.m. on June 5th. And we're like, that's good enough. Run it. Sounds good. Do I know how the fuck they're doing that? No.
It's kind of like I worked for Postmates back in the day, and I would deliver iPhones from the Apple store.
Oh, really?
Or like MacBooks or whatever. They would utilize that, and apparently it's similar to that, like kind of like an Instacart type situation where they're having people pick it up and then drop it off like individually.
Hopefully that person has a good day of rest and does not feel like stealing my Switch. Or don't get in a car accident. Please drive safe. But yeah, no. So hopefully it all works out. So we both got ours from Walmart. I bought mine from Walmart. Connor got one for Brady from Walmart. And then the boys go to bed, and I'm still streaming. And I'm like, cool. We still need all the other shit that we said we were going to buy in the first place when we were doing this. So I then got 3 Pro controllers, all from Walmart, because I was like, if it's going to be just one big shipment, might as well just get them all the same day. Those are supposed to get here on June 5th, thankfully. And then I got Street Fighter 6, which I just want some sort of physical copy. I forgot that you had physical copies coming with yours because of Mario Kart. But it will be nice to have just for the back wall. And
it sucks that there's nothing on the carts for any third party title. Seems like, other than Cyberpunk.
I mainly care about the case. That's my whole big thing. I want the case.
Weird.
I am not a physical collector. I understand why people are upset about it though. And then I picked up a case that night because I was like, oh shit, we gotta travel. I should have splurged, gone for the big nice case, the $80 all-in-one case.
Oh no, that's huge, dude.
But to take it out to LA, set it up on the TV for all of us to play Mario Kart out there, we got to bring a dock out there, right?
Yeah, you just throw that in your bag.
Yeah,
It's
but
fine.
we're talking about a $450 new console just getting tossed in the bag already.
No, not that. No, you need a case for the console, but like for the dock, it's like, who cares? It's fine.
I know. So we secured the bag. Connor got a case after the fact, and we were all done with Switch shenanigans around 1:15.
Yeah,
an hour and 15 minutes. I then want to fast forward to 3 a.m. where there was 2 different people still in our chat battling, and I was encouraging, and I was saying, continue to battle, continue to fight.
Where were they battling?
They were battling everywhere, dude. I think that they were on all 3 sites really trying to get things to go through. And thankfully, we did get some updates in the morning. Certain people were able to pull through GameStop on the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
The big thing that I want to go and discuss with this, one, if you did not get a Switch, stay on Warrior 64. There's a chance that
notifications on.
Notifications on
Warrior 64, and just if he will post if there is pre-orders live, because they will trickle out more.
Yeah, and then you potentially got Nintendo, who's going to do their own pre-order system in May. But if you did get one, congratulations. I feel excited. I understand that excitement. It's awesome. It's really cool. With that being said, I love this headline from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went live and were predictably a mess. For those that did not get a Switch, I understand the frustration of, and I get it. This was always going to be a mess. There's no things like this that exist on the internet where everyone's all on the internet at once. The thing that comes to mind is Taylor Swift tickets. That isn't a shit show. It's always a shit show. It's always going to be a shit show. There's no infrastructure for Best Buy that has this level to go and do it. Best Buy should have been posted earlier. Yes. Apparently that wasn't the case before for other launches and such.
I thought Best Buy was perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the whole, like, structure of it of add to cart, and then it puts you in like a little queue, and then if you get one, you get one, and then
same with Walmart to some level. And then the Target was a messy system. But
Target
once
was
again,
the only one that I think was really bad.
But I think that a large amount of people, when they look at what the pre-order system is, it just results in people believing that this is a shit show, because it is a shit show. It's everyone freaking out doing it, but it is also, like, I don't know a better way to do it.
No, yeah, I don't really blame any of these websites for the structure and how it all works.
I want to shout out GameStop for this. If you rolled up to a GameStop, you probably got one. If you rolled up a few hours before open and that was your sort of like moment of like, I'm going to go and camp out for a couple hours and did it old school, you probably got one.
Yeah.
And the nice part is you're going to be able to go walk in and pick it up the next when it comes out. And
you're not a scalper, probably.
You're a fan. You also put your body on the line and everything. And so, like, I just want to shout out for, if you were somebody that waited out at a GameStop, fuck yeah. Because here's the thing. If I was not streaming at around 1 a.m., if we did not get one, I would have been like, all right, 6 a.m. I'm just going to roll in and fucking do it. That is the move to some level. The next time that there's a console launch, and if it's Xbox, normally Xbox likes to go like a week before PlayStation or something. If that's the case, I would roll into that GameStop and just camp out at this point. That seems to be the move. That is the move at this point, it seems, for console launches. And this is a lesson learned, in my opinion, for myself, for us, and for a lot of people that are pre-ordering a console for the first time. There's so many people in our chat. They're like, this is my first time pre-ordering. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, it really does when you get one. But
I know a lot of people are going to
frustrating
scoff at this of being like, it's just consumerism or whatever, and why be excited to just like shell over your money. It's like, being excited for a console is a lot of fun, in my opinion, and you only get so many of them throughout your life that getting caught up in the hype is exciting. It's fun. I understand the criticism of getting excited to just like buy something is a little lame, but like I thought this was silly and fun, and I'm excited for the console. I would be doing this even if I wasn't covering games. I like new tech. I like new hardware. I'm looking forward to it, and just goes to show that the people who are like, nobody wants this, this is going to bomb, it's going to be another Wii U situation. I've been saying totally wrong. This is how this always goes. So
We'll see where it ends up, because I do think that like this initial purchase cycle and
Yeah.
everything, I really want to give myself a little bit of flowers at least on this one, because I said multiple times that they could show up with whatever when it comes to a rollout for this thing, and it would sell out. It would be a huge thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, but games are expensive. The lead in from announcement to launch might have been the worst like possible thing for Nintendo, like ever. Like it couldn't get more worse when it came to the bad news train of like,
Yeah.
we're pulling pre-orders and tariffs and games are $80 and they're not on the game cart, and just like every single serving was shitty. Like it just was bad. And so for them to still be able to figure it out, it really just shows where Nintendo's at as a company right now, which is they make games that are so fucking fun, that are so available, that are so just amazing for gamers. Like it's pretty awesome, and I'm going to be excited about those games. Like
Right.
Connor and I during the show, we're just wrapping it up about like Mario Kart World is my most anticipated game this year.
I wonder.
I love it.
I wonder how long the conversation is going to last about the $80 games before it just becomes completely normalized. I did feel like for $70, people were talking about it for maybe like a year or two after the fact, and now like nobody's talking about $70 games.
Ghost is still 70, by the way. We didn't bring that up in that story, where it's like that is interesting that Sony first party is sticking firm, it seems, at 70 for the first major release since $80 from Switch.
I don't think there's any plans, or there would be any plans to change that fast. It might be PS6.
That would be a good spot to do that. Yeah, if you were.
PS6 will be $80 games 1000%.
I get that.
Unless this totally backfires on Nintendo and just and like I said, like this goes to show for now that there's interest in the Switch and it's not gonna flop. It's still good.
We still have a lot of time left, because I went back to the initial jump of this. There was no way, because there's so much good faith with the Switch right now. Everyone and their mom has got a Switch. Like it is in your home console. There's somebody playing Mario Kart. There's somebody playing Odyssey. There's somebody playing Breath of the Wild, and those are some of the best fucking games ever. And so when you have that much of it's such a large demand already, even with the pitfalls, the high level, like I love the Switch consumers would be like, yeah, this was always going to sell a shit ton, and $450 was not enough to turn people away. Price changing was not enough to turn people away. Mario Kart being $80 wasn't able to turn people away. It still was a shit show, and I hope that the lesson is learned from us and everyone. Just if there's a way to go to store, just go to store. That I think that is the number one thing that I learned from this, because that will be my plan in the future. If I don't get it the night of, I'll give it a shot for about like 30 minutes.
It's similar to what I said about Target, where it's like it's just nice to have the control over the situation, where like you have the agency to just be like, I'm going to show up 3-4 hours early or X amount of hours early to make sure that I get a Switch 2, and then you can go and do that if you're going to GameStop. Whereas like a website crashing or a website putting you in a queue, it just like is so outside of your control. It's just like, whatever happens, I guess.
Yeah, it is absolutely fascinating. Headline: The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered arrives today. This is Joe Screbbles at Xbox Wire. He wrote this up in bullet points. Quote: The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is out today for Xbox Series X and S, PC via Steam and the Xbox app for Windows PC, Cloud, and PlayStation 5. It's available day one with Game Pass and is an Xbox Play Anywhere title. With a core of the original Creation Engine game, Oblivion Remastered adds quality of life features and a gorgeous new Unreal Engine 5 visual treatment. Oblivion Remastered also includes the Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles expansions. Purchase or upgrade to the deluxe edition for bonus quests, weapons, armor, horse armor, and more. End quote.
The infamous horse armor.
The horse armor is here, Connor. What a day.
Yeah.
And let's go here. What a week for Xbox. Team Green. Game Pass is fucking just the best value in gaming this week. It is a hell of a week to be a Game Pass subscriber because of Creation or Expedition 33 and Oblivion coming in here. It's awesome. It's just unbelievable. With that being said, you've been playing this one. You've been on it. You've been having some fun with it. I assume that we'll discuss it probably a little bit more on CGC, just in general. But like, how are you feeling right now with playing this, being part of the zeitgeist moment during this awesome Shadow Drop?
I like it. I wish I liked it more. This is just not my brand of fantasy for the most part. I'm already not a big fantasy guy in general, and this just is not hitting as hard as I want it to. I get why people like it. I need to experience more of the side stuff. Get in the comments also, like, I'm kind of confused on side quests because my quest list right now is the main quest, Dark Brotherhood, and the start of the Thieves Guild, and that's it. Like, whereas Skyrim, you're picking up quests all the time, like miscellaneous quests that like go into a list, and I'll go up to somebody and like ask about rumors, and they'll tell me about something, but I'm like, do I have to then just randomly go come across what you're talking about here, or will it show up on a would show up on some kind of marker or whatever, and it just doesn't. So I want to do more of the side content outside of the main quest, but I don't exactly know how to experience it. But the combat, remember when we were leading up to this and they were like, it's going to be like Souls combat?
Yeah.
That's not true at all.
It said inspirations from Souls games, which I think means you can block things.
All right. I mean, like, it's just Skyrim then.
Yeah.
And I was hoping the combat would be like completely overhauled to make it fun, but here's the core of it all. Like, first person sword melee combat is not fun. Period. Like, it's just very difficult to be engaged with just swing, swing, swing. Oh, the example for us we keep going back to is Avowed, where like I did have fun playing that, but that hinges on kind of the fast, frantic dodging and then using your like cooldown like abilities and stuff. That like mixing all those in was fun, dodging and parrying and everything.
The combat is way more. There's way more there when it comes to Avowed.
Yes, whereas this, I'm not having fun with the moment-to-moment gameplay, and you can say the same thing about Skyrim. But for Skyrim, I really enjoy like the general tone and vibe of the world. I think that like dragons, like that isn't what I'm talking about when it comes to dragons versus the Oblivion Gates. I think the Oblivion Gates are probably more interesting to me personally. I think that idea is really cool. It's like these like demonic gates or whatever. But Skyrim is like just has a better tone for me. Like across the board that I find enjoyable to like be in that world. This like just, it's very like pristine, clean fantasy, very classical fantasy that just does not hit as hard for me. So the idea that like the gameplay isn't exactly what I'm looking for, and the reason that I play something like the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and enjoy it at all is because of the story and the world. And the story in the world just like are not hitting for me. I think the main quest is pretty interesting for the most part, but like there isn't this major hook that I feel to like come back and play it like every single day. The problem for me though is when there's this big zeitgeist game like Oblivion, and I've heard amazing things about it for years and years. Like, I want to like it so badly, I just don't, which is frustrating. Like, I want to like every game, and it's hard for me to. I'm gonna try to finish the main quest. I'm 50% of the way through it, so I want to go back and I'm gonna try to push through here.
Is that what you're doing tomorrow? Is that what you're getting up to tomorrow on a Saturday?
Yeah,
you're just rocking Oblivion.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
At the very least, like I said, I want to finish the main quest, and I don't think it's that long.
Yeah.
Like I
heard 30 hours.
I don't think that's true, unless there's something that I'm not seeing, or unless the percentage on PlayStation is completely off.
Okay.
And that might assume that you're going to go do other things too.
Yeah,
I've spent quite a bit of time doing I've done like 3 Dark Brotherhood quests.
Nice. I want to hop in on the business side of this because it is infinitely interesting. Let's start with the conversation we've had many times. Now that we've seen it, now it's out. It's a remastered. Them calling it a remastered. Do you think that is a disservice to this game?
Yeah, I think it's just a kind of semantics thing where they said in their Twitter post, they were like, it's because we want the core of the game to be the same, and it's not a full-on remake because it's still the same game. It just looks visually like way more impressive with some like with other tweaks.
With big tweaks like sprinting and changed combat and a lot of things.
But it is still fundamentally the same game. Like, I got a bug that is the same bug for a quest from the original version.
I've been listening to people, from for those who don't know, during the Persona stream, I would go and eat and like cook things real quick and take trash out. So when I was doing that, I was trying to get some sort of video game content in me just to one, hear other people talk other than myself because I'm in this room for this long, but two, also just to hear what's happening with the conversation. And I was able to throw on the Min-Max podcast for a little bit. I just want to hear somebody talk about Oblivion that like really loved it when it came to the industry perception on it. And it was really cool because they were like, yeah, this is the game that I know and love with the same jank. And I want the jank. And that quote, a lot of people pointed to apparently was like, that is Todd Howard being like, the jank's still there, everyone. You're good. This game is still very janky. And people want that to some level.
He was talking about the charm
the
of
charm.
Oblivion, and it's like,
it's like, no, you're talking about the bugs, but also the fun bugs that make this game fucking wild. And this experience that a lot of people had 20 years ago.
There's this great video of the voice line of this character, this NPC that's like doing the voice line, like, da 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 da, and then you're like, let me redo that. And then like does it, and it's in the game.
That's awesome.
It's so stupid.
But no, this game it's cool that charm is still there and people still want it. But the most important part of this entire story, Connor, is that Daddy got his point. Shout out to Fantasy Critic. Shout out to the team over there saying, no, we know that this is a remake and we are going to, as I would like to say, give Daddy his points. Right now, over on Open Critic, it has an 85, 15 points. I'm at a 22. My team is fucking stacked. Connor, South of Midnight, 7 points. Could have been better. Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't even care if that game's an 80 on Metacritic. Mixtape, it might not even come out. The big question on my team was always, can he get some games with some goddamn dates on it? Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 3 and 4 coming out July 11th. 6 days later, Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't know how you let me get that one, Connor. You got to just let that one happen. And then when we get to our next news story, because I still want to talk a little bit more about Oblivion, FBC Fire Break just got a motherfucking date. So your boy is fucking feasting. I went from 6th place in projections, Connor, 6th place before this release. I'm now 2nd place in projections. A cool 13 points still behind of Ali Benali. I'm going for the crown. Did I say it or did I say it in that group chat where I said I'm going to fucking win this league? And Fantasy Critic, I know that you guys every now and then listen to certain podcasts. If you're listening to this podcast, 1, say what's up in the comments. And 2, thank you for giving Daddy his points.
Shouldn't have got his points.
Daddy got
if
his
they call it
points.
a remaster and remasters aren't allowed, that should be what it is. This is another semantics issue, and we're not taking the word at face value. That's all I'm saying. And
you know who is not taking the word at face value? The lawmakers of this league, Fantasy Critic themselves, had to step in. They saw an injustice in the world and they said, no, we're going to give Daddy his points. And I do want to shout out Concrete, who did counterpick this. Connor brought up the fact, by the way, on a previous casual gaming news conversation and said this was basically guaranteed when we did the Fantasy Critic draft. Why was it counterpicked that early, Connor? Because it wasn't guaranteed. This bold man, like, I know that there's national heroes like Neil Armstrong. He took the first step on the moon. This was me taking the first step on the moon of Fantasy Critic, Connor. This was me going out there and claiming what is mine, being bold, stepping up to the plate. And what was it, Connor? Home run. First try, baby. First try. Last year, I didn't take this seriously. The second I started to try, Connor, the moment I started to try, what happens? Domination Station. Your boy kicking ass, taking names. Daddy got his points.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm now done.
You have 22 points, Nick.
It's going to be a long
You have 2 games released, one with 15 points and one with 7.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, Connor. The monkey with the tie is about to come and spank your booty, Connor. You guys let that happen. How did you let that happen?
I haven't picked up a single game yet.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you waiting on?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you just been out of the tune of Fantasy Critic for a little bit?
Every single time I remember to do it, it's like on a Friday.
Yeah.
And I can't, there's nothing to bid on.
Yeah, exactly. So for those who don't know, this has been a saga that's been gone on for a couple weeks. Even on the show, we've mentioned it a few times with it. So that I just want to close it out. I did get the points over on Fantasy Critic.
Let's talk about what this means for Xbox real fast. I think this is a great win for Xbox's bottom line, for Microsoft's bottom line. I'm playing this on PlayStation. I think that the conversation around it really does come down to Game Pass. I'm curious if it moves the numbers at all. I doubt that it will, based off of the fact that Call of Duty didn't move the numbers, but we will see. Yeah.
This will move the numbers 100%.
It's great for gamers.
Is it going to be this large shift? No, but this was a huge headline. There are major fans of this series. There are people that are buying Game Pass to hop into directly this.
COD moved it 2%, Nick.
Yeah, but we're talking about millions of people that got Game Pass. 2%'s a couple million people to hop in. How many people? I think that this might get
what is
another.
What is 2% of 40 million or 34 million?
It's not millions.
Yeah.
It's like 700,000 people, 600,000 people.
Great. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that there are people that did go out and pick it up. My main thing is there was people in our chat just being like, I'm not a Game Pass person, but I'm picking it up for this and Claire Obscure. Now let's have the question. This came out. Do you think that this monumentally screws over Claire Obscure?
I think the conversation will be more about Claire Obscure after this first week.
Yeah.
Just generally speaking.
Which I think the narrative going into it, because people didn't have Claire Obscure yet, was, oh shit, that sucks for Claire Obscure. There's no way you're going to be able to compete with this beloved remake and everything. And it's just like, dude, that game has the sauce. And we did the review, and we'll probably touch on it for on casual gaming conversation. But for those that really tune into just this show, I feel like it's necessary to say we both really enjoyed Claire Obscure. Connor gave it an 8. I gave it a 9. 91 or 2 on Metacritic right now. Raving reviews. We threw this out there. Brady wants to play it. We're gonna get it physical, not only to have on the back wall, but to support this team. The fact that this game is $50, insane.
Yeah,
insane.
If you can support the team and you have the means to do so, try to pick it up physical or buy the video game rather than doing it on Game Pass just because it supports the team more. And I think that's important.
Because once again, I'm listening to this Min-Map podcast and I loved it. Like there was a line of like, teams shouldn't be allowed to do this. Drop a game that's this good on your first attempt, basically, and then also drop it for $50. It's awesome. And Connor and I are talking about our weekends of gaming, of like what we're doing. We're driving up to this game shop, and it's just like, dude, I kind of just want to fucking hop back in. Before the show, I threw on the Claire Obscure soundtrack for one song, and then we watched a little bit of Valorant. It was a good time. But yeah, no, I'm very, very curious to see where it ends up between the Oblivion conversation. People have said Oblivion's going to be a Game of the Year nomination right now, and I'm like, that's not the case. I do want to have this conversation real quick.
What?
We are 4 months into the year. Is there any chance now that Claire Obscure seems to be a GOTY nom or a GOTY contender, I would say. Any chance Kingdom Come 2 gets nominated for Game of the Year?
No, I don't want to beat up on that game.
Yeah, I don't either. But
I think there's a chance for sure. But it's right now it's Claire Obscure and Split Fiction, and I don't think
there's another one,
Fiction's
Connor.
guaranteed.
I think that the most guaranteed game that has come out this year thus far that will be there 100% at the end of the year is Blueprints.
No.
Really?
No.
Don't want to bet.
Yeah,
I bet
sure.
that it's there.
Nick, it has a 3.5 on Backlogged out of 5.
It's not,
this game is divisive.
Really?
Yeah. I've heard people talk about it too, and I'm like, the flaws that people talk about, I'm like, yeah, that sounds not... That is a reasonable thing to be very annoyed about.
Okay.
Of like the RNG of it and like having to do the same room over and over and over again, like do darts like 50 fucking times every single time you start up a new run. It's like, yeah, that does sound like it,
but yeah,
kind of sucks.
I do think that it's just a tough spot though for that game, especially with Oblivion coming out. But the cool part, and to not dunk, this game is not for me. That's been the conversation I've been having while playing Persona, and people keep asking me about it. It's like, I'm not the Elder Scrolls guy in the first place. I'm not the Bethesda guy in the first place. And some of these games are monumentally amazing video games and are fucking awesome, and people love them. And I understand that, like, I'm not the right one here necessarily. Right. But like it also kind of sucks because I want to share in the excitement. I would have, if it was a normal Tuesday stream for me, I would have booted up Oblivion. I would have shifted whatever I was playing and just boot up Oblivion. But like, I am so stoked that this genre is just been awesome for the people that are stoked about it. Like Kingdom Come and this for fantasy, and then next year you look at Fable and you're just like, yeah, this is going to be super sick for the people that are really waiting and fiending for Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Fable's same kind of deal for me for that type of fantasy where it's like, I don't know.
It is on our schedule, like for Connor stream ideas. Fable, you've brought it up a couple times. Are you just like, nah?
I want to try, but like I want to like this stuff. I just don't know what it is about it that puts me off.
Final headline, Remedy's FBC Fire Break gets a release date, will be on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus on day one. This is Chris Scullion at VGC. Quote, the Alan Wake Studios' upcoming 3-player co-op first-person shooter set in the Control universe will be released on June 17th. The game will be available on PC on both Steam and the Epic Store, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and will cost $39.99. On its day of release, it will also be available on PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and the extra and premium tiers of PlayStation Plus. End quote. Connor, I want to go first on this one. I like my multiplayer games quite a bit, and I am excited to stream this with you and the team. This is another one of those examples of a team doing it so fucking right. We talk about it all the time. Free-to-play games, you need to make your games free-to-play. It's necessary in a multiplayer spot. Marathon's having its alpha, and that's been a conversation there. This game, $40, a lot of people are like, I don't know. But this game needs one thing more than anything else, player base. This is the most important part of this entire game and the conversation. They also understand very well, it seems, from interviews that they've had and discussions around it. This is not going to be a forever type game. Like, it's going to be supported, it's going to be fun, but like, this is not supposed to be your next 100, 200, 300 hour game. I think that this is a team that is so willing to hit a double.
Yeah.
And you don't see that often.
I love it.
I fucking love it. Remedy is doing it right. Obviously, we talk about Remedy all the time. We love to champion Remedy. They're one of the best creative studios in the game right now. Connor, when you saw this slide by your desk, June 17th, $40 price tag. We already knew that it was Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra.
Oh, we did?
Day one. We knew that it was Game Pass and those, yes. But we did not know June 17th before this. How does it make you feel? You stoked on this?
I mean, I think that releasing on those two day and date is having your cake and eating it too, of like the space between free to play and charging $40. Like, you need people to play this and have a good word of mouth and be like, let's all play together. And well, I don't want to spend $40. Well, it's on Game Pass. It's like, okay, like, yeah, let's hop in.
Yeah.
I think it's very smart. I am not super interested in this game, but I will give it a go at the right price. And the right price is Game Pass free.
Yeah, it is. I own Game Pass, so rock and roll. Yeah.
So I'm excited. June 17th.
Yeah, June 17th is release date.
Soon, like very soon. Very intrigued to see how this is received, and how much it's related to Control. I know that it's a co-op game. Is it competitive at all?
No, it's not competitive.
Okay, it's just like
I think it's just yeah, it is more similar to a Helldivers than it is to a Marathon.
And I love the idea of a game, a multiplayer experience, not being something that's gonna just survive forever and expected to just extract money out of its consumers over and over again for 10 years. It's what they should have done with The Last of Us factions, where it can come out and they support it for 2 years and then it just lives on of people who want to play this game and enjoy it or whatever. And that's it. Like,
yeah,
that's all you need to do with one of these games, in my opinion. If the game is fun enough, if the core game is fun enough, it is not something that needs to be updated over and over and over again forever. People are still playing The Last of Us factions. They should have done it with that game. I'm glad they're doing it with this game. So yeah, I'm excited.
I can't wait for this one. Like, I literally just put it on our calendar in the middle of this, where the hard part, as always, in the year 2025 is release dates are real tough. It is right in between Mario Kart World and the Switch launch and Death Stranding 2. So my money is that Connor is going to stream this with me one night, and that's all I'm going to get out of you.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm fucking stoked about this. I'm excited to run it with the Discord. Any multiplayer shooter that is made by one of our favorite teams, of course I'm going to give it a shot. But like, I think that there's a chance that like, I put my money where my mouth was, hypothetically and literally, with getting it on Fantasy Critic. There's obviously the fantasy dollars. That's what I'm talking about there. I put a bid on it and I got it on my team. I think that this game is going to review decently well. Remedy doesn't make really bad games. They don't make, and them understanding what they want this title to be within their portfolio makes me have so much more faith that they're not biting off more than they can chew, just in a general sense. Like, they fully understand. They're like, oh, this is just gonna be something that we can throw out there for Remedy fans that is on the cheaper end, is not a $70 title. It is multiplayer focused. I promise that no matter what, this game's going to be fun. I don't know how fun it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be $40 worth of fun, but it seems like it's going to be a fun ride because you're in the Control universe with your friends, shooting sticky notes on the last trailer. Did you see that? Like, oh my gosh, it's creative. It's weird. It looks awesome. When this got revealed, I was like, fuck yeah. And then you were just like, really? And I'm just like, dude, it's Remedy and hanging out with your buds. Monster Hunter is one of my favorite games from this year just due to the fact that the game's fucking awesome. It's by a great team. It's well polished, and I get to play with my friends. Like, this is... I'm not going to say it's going to be as good as Monster Hunter, which is like a GOTY contender and one of the biggest games Capcom's going to release this decade. But it is fucking awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Good on Remedy with this one. It seems like they're doing everything right. I think that also we talked about beta for Marathon in the summer, those multiplayer moments that you get in the summer when you, like, people aren't necessarily off work, but like you spend a little bit more time trying to vacation, relax. Everyone's got that summertime like chill almost, and hey, let's hop into Fire Break, have a good time. Connor, we got some Patreon names that we got to go and throw out there. Thank you so much to all the people that support this show over on Patreon. You guys are the ones keeping the mics and lights on. And yeah, we really do appreciate you. People like Apathetic Titan,
JC Falcon,
Frozen Crushes,
Jaxie T,
Sconzi,
Cheery Sentry,
DQ Lonzer,
Gamers Glade,
Tyler D,
Scooterman,
Dinkelberg Rules,
Centuru,
Hook'em Horns,
Gonash,
Neutral Sphere,
Charlie W,
Easton C,
Stooby Dooby,
We Nuke This Kingdom,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
JC,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Metal Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Yogi,
Dom,
Holden M,
Colin C,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Dr. Pookie Bear,
Alex W,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Jesse F,
Drifter X1 Skirt Skirt,
Presto,
Maverick,
Goops,
JMatt B3,
Ali Ben Ali,
Michael,
and Vorpal Matt. Thank you so much for hanging out with this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.